What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We are broadcasting live on Valentine's Day, and it was so interesting. I usually do my Saturday late morning, early afternoon rounds, do the grocery shopping, and there were so many guys buying flowers. So I hope they weren't doing it because they've been bad and want some forgiveness, but there were so many people buying flowers. So our hearts are out to you, not only today, but every day. And this is my thing to say to you on Valentine's Day. Lead with love, not just on Valentine's Day, but every day. We are here with Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa. Aisha's still not with us. And today we have Miss 14K. Hello, Miss 14K. Laura LaLa Key is in the house. What is up? Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Thank you. It's been a very interesting week.
Yes.
I have had some wins. I'll keep some of those wins to myself, but it's been a good week. But Valentine's Day is always one of my favorite. I'm one of those girls who don't need flowers. My hubby is my Valentine every single day, but we did go out to dinner. So, yeah, we're mushy like that.
There you go. Hey, there you go. Not just one day. Year round.
And I've never been a flower girl anyway. No, I don't know why. Maybe I like carnations, but I'm not a big rose girl because carnations last a long time. I always just feel like it's such beauty being plucked so early. And I worked one of my very first jobs. I used to do work study in high school. So I had all my credits and then I could work part of the day of school. So my first job was at a flower store.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. What?
I was around flowers quite a bit.
Memories doing that?
Oh, beautiful memories doing that. I remember when I first worked there, you'd walk in and you'd have all these wonderful, wonderful, beautiful smells. But after you work there for a while, you don't smell them anymore. So people would come in and be like, "Oh, it smells so good in here." And we're like, "Yeah, you can't smell it." But and I was the place. It was a flower store. It was like, so it had beautiful plants and flowers. So it was around that every day.
Wow. Flower store. I'm sure that there were times you saw people buying flowers and you said, "Oh, there's something good going on," or "There's someone who wants to apologize." All those sort of things. Give us a win that you've had this week.
This week, I actually am almost finished with my Lunch and Learn. I have my very first Lunch and Learn is going to teach people how to create their own AI character and to also clone themselves and to create a little video for them. So by the end of the class, they'll be able to have anywhere from a 8-second video to a 30-second video learning AI.
Wow. Well, tell us when that class happens because I want to be part of it because I've gone through so many videos on YouTube on how to do that, and they're just like, "No, you're not doing it for me. There's something missing." So
yeah, and I pick the ones that are the lowest cost because it can get pretty pricey.
Oh,
and
yeah.
What I tried to do with this one is be extremely responsible, because a part of being responsible with AI is not just getting them there and asking it everything like, "What's the weather going to be today?" Because it does affect our environment. So I tried to be very quick and easy with the steps that I've come up with so that people can do this quickly and responsibly.
That's good. And you know what? We already got some people in the house. So there's a lady from, I am Brazilian. I live in Brazil. Oh, my.
Welcome, Brazil.
And says, "Good night, all." And I also know that Heather Harris from the DMV is in the house. So good to see
Nice.
you, Heather Harris. So you didn't give me a win yet.
That was my win.
Oh,
I'm the
oh,
class
yes,
because it was
yes,
major. But
yes.
I have to tell Sue, hola, bonne nuit.
Oh, I have no idea what that means.
Hello, good night. Because at
Oh,
night you say in
okay.
the evening instead of saying good evening,
Okay.
it's nighttime.
You
So
you know that's I know in some parts they say like I know can't remember the island in the West Indies. Hello, good night. They say hello, good night. They start with hello, good night.
but it could be Botard where she is right now because of the time difference. Botard, welcome.
Okay, good. Thank you for the lesson today. I appreciate that. Very well off. Question. Your health wasn't good for the last little while. How's the singing coming along? Are you back up to full strength when it comes to singing?
A couple of little hitches, but pretty much about 95%. Some notes, some ranges are just still like a little gravelly, but I don't typically sing in those registers. I am a soprano, so I typically sing on the higher side. But when I have to sing lower, that's when it gets down there. And I get a little
Mm,
gravelly.
okay. Okay. You know, it's interesting, and I share this with some of the people via Instagram. Are you looking forward to Jill Scott's new album? Are you a Jill Scott fan? Let me put
I
that.
am very much so. I love Jill Scott. I think
It's
she's
gonna
just
be
real. I
interesting to
think
see
she's
what
got a
that sounds like,
beautiful
and
voice.
I hopefully, I'm sure she'll tour on this, so I'm sure there'll be overwhelming response to Jill Scott.
It's been a while, and usually, just like with Maxwell, he waited for so long. People really crave certain artists that we grew up with, and really respect. And I respect Jill. I love her writing style. I love how just open she is. She's been doing a whole lot more podcasting with people. She has her own podcast, but she's been doing a lot of interviewing with people, and I'm really excited for it.
I think there are so many Black women I know who love Jill Scott,
Yeah, I sing a lot of her songs when we perform.
and, yeah, there's just so many. Quick question. Uh, well, you know what? I'll hold it off. I'll hold it off for a second because I'll ask. You know what? No. Did you watch a Bad Bunny performance?
I did. I purposely did on purpose.
Okay.
I couldn't even tell you who won the Super Bowl, but I watched Bad Bunny because I really don't know. I don't know who won the Super Bowl, but I made
Okay.
sure to watch Bad Bunny.
What
And
what
I
what
was
were your
very impressed.
thoughts?
And I thought he did a great job. And what people missed is, for me, I'm a vocalist, so it doesn't matter what language you're singing in. I go to operas. I don't need to know what they're singing. I just know the feeling. Okay, like
Mhm.
that. That's just my thing. People are making a big deal out of nothing. They're talking about he's not an American. Well, we've had so many artists that performed at halftime that are, and Bad Bunny is American. Are not. So many other people that are not. But I really and truly loved how he mixed in such wonderful messages and started with a good message about who he was, what he stands for, and he had to believe in himself, and he urged people to do the same. What most people don't know is Bad Bunny was definitely wearing a bulletproof vest. He also wore a
Oh,
bulletproof
wow.
vest to the Grammys. You can see he's very uncomfortable with that, but you always see him kind of touch it in a certain way. So the design of the outfit that he had a lot of significance, but it also covered the fact that he was wearing a gunproof vest, which is very sad about America.
Mm, mm, mm. Okay. What what is a song that you've sung recently or listened to recently that you've really enjoyed either singing or listening to?
What did I sing? I was sing Oh, it's a hymn, because I sometimes when my spirit is really down, um, I grew up in the church. I went to prayer meetings every Wednesday, and at prayer meetings, someone would start off with a song and then they would pray. And lately, I've just been singing "His Eye Is on the Sparrow,"
Okay.
and it went hand in hand with some of the readings that I was having. Because right now the world is heavy, and you have to really think that on a cosmic level of things, whatever you believe, something is going on, and you have to at some point have faith and trust to move in love. And that song talks about him taking care of us. If he takes care of the little birds, he takes care of us. And that's been my heart soothing song this week.
Okay. That one of the songs I always listen to is, and I'm not going to sing, "There's the Reason Why I Sing." Someone, I don't know the name of that song, but that is always.
Ask the question.
There you go.
Why do we sing? That's Kirk Franklin.
Yes, always love that song. And then I guess secular wise, I always like "This Is It" by Kenny Loggins.
Yeah, I know, that's a good one. This is it.
Make no mistake who you are. I love
Kenny Loggins is a bad boy. Yo, people don't think about that, but Kenny writes a lot of good hits for not only himself, but he's always been, Michael McDonald's ride or die.
Those two together, forget it. Like, you know what? And I never saw. I've seen YouTube videos that I would love to see them together. Like, there's a video I watch a lot of times where they do Heart to Heart. Yes. And What a Fool Believes.
Yes.
And This Is It. And it's a pot. They do it. They pulled it, those three songs in concert. And what's the first song I mentioned? Which What a Fool Believes. This Is It. And what was the other? What a Fool. I think What a Fool Believes.
Yes.
They have David Foster playing on piano.
Yes. Now, I don't know. Have you listened to the one that they did with Thundercat? I think it's about 5 or 6 years old, but it is really fun. And it's very uplifting. I can't think of the title of it, but they did a song with him and it's great.
No, I'm a huge Michael McDonald fan. Wow. Yeah. Like just in Blue-Eyed Soul at its absolute best. Incredible. Well,
I'm going to find that song because it's a great song.
Yeah, there's Kenny Loggins. Yes. Also did
Show You the Way. That's what it's called. Show You the Way.
Okay. Yeah, he also did Even Though You Ain't Got Money, I'm Still in Love with You, Honey. He did a version of that, but I don't know if it was he did the original, because I know Anne Murray did.
Yes.
Way back.
Now, you know what? You getting into a section where my hubby and he always laughs at me because I know every last one of those songs. Like, because when I grew up, like the black radio station didn't have the bandwidth at nighttime to play. So I grew up in the country. So I would have to flip to soft rock and hard rock and all those other stations because the black station was on the AM. And so when I flipped back over, I learned all of those songs. Honey, I Do, Muskrat Love.
Oh my gosh.
He did not believe that was a real song.
Captain and Tennille.
Yes, Captain and Tennille.
Okay, pop quiz. It was Tony Tennille. What was the gentleman's name? Who wore the sailor's hat all the time?
I don't know.
Okay, Daryl Dragon. Daryl Dragon. That was his name.
Daryl Dragon, but he's no longer with us now.
But yeah, then also we had Hall and Oates.
Yeah, they fighting.
Yeah, they're not fighting. They don't even deal with each other. Forget about fighting.
Because their music is great.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Hall and Oates. But Michael McDonald.
Who'd be ready to go on tour that I didn't think was going to go on tour? Floetry. Yeah, because they were fighting big time for a long time. What's her name? Marsha Ambrosia. She did not. They ended up falling out really bad on the last tour that they did, but they're going out again. They just announced it this week.
Okay. Yeah, there were years I say, no, these guys are past their prime, but I still say, you know what? If they come out now, I will go see them. I will go see them in concert. I would love to see Rochelle Farrell again. I remember seeing her a few years ago. I'd love to see Shantae Moore again.
Oh, well, Shantae is actually performing. She still performs, but
I know she does.
Isn't Rochelle having health issues?
I'm not sure, but I remember seeing her in concert. I said, wow. I'd also love to see Regina Bell in concert again. Make It Like It Was. Oh, that song. Make It Like It Was.
Yes.
And I'd even go see Anita Baker again.
I don't dig her. I never have.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I mean, long before I knew about her personality, I just didn't dig her.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, before we go all retro on you, family, we're going to take a break and break for a few moments. We're going to come back. We're going to take a 15. Yeah, I think we'll just take a 15. I don't know. What are we going to do here today? What are we going to do? Okay, we'll take a 15-second break.
Check out The Morning Vibe on Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel with Dr. Vibe and Ryan Knight, where they discuss important subjects between themselves or have conversations with people who you need to know about.
Well, don't wait till Monday. You're here now, but also check us out on Monday too on The Morning Vibe. So here we go. Girlfriends Chat is on hold right now, but it will get back. But here's the places where you can catch it. Also, the Primetime Saturday store is there. And join our Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe. Excuse me, at the drvibeshow.com or click on the link there. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit notification button because we know a lot of you watch, but you don't subscribe and hit the notification button. But that changed a little bit last Saturday. There was like, whoa. So we appreciate that. But also follow the Dr. Vibe Show on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. To advertise your business, product, or service on any of our platforms, email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Can't forget one of the stars of the show last week, Dr. Tachi powers Indie Soup TV, independent content creators platform of about 25 independent content creators, me being one of them. And also I sit on the advisory board. And in about 2.5 years of operation on that YouTube channel, over 28,000 subscribers, which makes that platform in the top 4% of YouTube subscriber channels in the world. I always have to remember Dr. Tachi, reminder about that. Okay. Before we got a number of stories to talk about today.
We do.
But what we're going to do is first things first, we're going to show an intro video to our first story. Then we're going to come back. We're going to play a YouTube snippet accompanying that first story. Yes. And then LaLa gon' go in. So we're going to take all this off screen. We'll be back in about less than a minute.
Tensions erupted as Attorney General Pam Bondi faced Congress for the first time since her confirmation. Lawmakers grilled her over the Justice Department's handling of the Epstein files, with redaction errors exposing victims' identities. When pressed by Representative Jayapal to apologize to survivors, Bondi refused, calling the demand theatrics. Accusations of lying, personal insults, and heated clashes followed. Bondi called Representative Massey a failed politician, and Representative Raskin a washed-up lawyer. The drama peaked when Bondi displayed a document revealing congressional search histories, sparking allegations of DOJ surveillance. This hearing spotlighted deep divides over transparency, accountability, and trust in America's institutions.
Okay, and before LaLa goes in, we're gonna if no one saw what we're talking about, we are going to put it up right now. So this is about
prepare your hearts.
Yeah, here we go.
Testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief, so help you God. I do. Let the record show that the witness has answered.
Trump orders up prosecutions like pizza, and you deliver every time. He tells you to go after James Comey, Letitia James, Lisa Cook, and Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve Board. And
I am deeply sorry for what any victim has been through.
Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through.
Ladies,
I'm
reclaim
I'm
your
not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to
Yes.
answer the question
How-
the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer
theatrics
the
are
question the
ridiculous.
way I asked it. How
Chairman
many have you
Jordan, I'm not
indicted?
going to get in the gutter with these people.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch.
Reclaim
Not
it?
on our time. No way.
Reclaim
And I
it?
told you about that, Attorney General, before you
You
started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, oh, I
anything,
did tell you because we
washed
saw
up
what you did in the
loser
Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names?
We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name. He
Reclaiming
was
my
listed under- I'm
time.
going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
He
It's-
was,
Mr.
this
Chairman.
isn't how this works.
Was the president aware of Secretary Lutnick's ties to Epstein when he chose him to lead the Department of Commerce? Was he aware?
Chris Malin was a Border Patrol agent.
Okay, so
He
I'm
was
going to
shot,
conclude
and
that
she
the president, in
never
fact,
mentioned
did
him
know about his
in
ties
her
because he
district.
was the next door neighbor.
Shame on you.
Oh, for goodness sakes,
You're
this
from
is
a tiny,
pathetic. This
beautiful
is
state.
pathetic, Mr.
Committee will be
Chair.
in order.
I am not asking trick questions here. The
You got your
American
5
people have a right to know the answers to this. These are senior officials in the Trump administration.
Okay.
Did you
So that
expect
was a
any
little
different?
quiet.
Did you
So-
expect any different?
Oh, hold on. So LaLa, what do you think about the fiery exchanges that dominate Bondi's appearance before
She's a piece of
Congress?
trash. She's a piece of trash. Bobblehead Barbie who bows down and kisses the ring. This is nothing that I wasn't shocked. This is exactly how she wants things to be. This is a whole chaos and disorder administration. This is a whole whirlwind while they pull bullshit in the background. I don't know how many times I have had to say that the thing is pay no attention behind the man in the curtain, because she has been his ride or die since Florida. There are pictures of her cooled up all up on him way back in Florida. If you thought she was going to bring any kind of truth and sanity to this situation, you were sadly mistaken. She never had the intention. She doesn't have the intention. And honestly, I honestly think out of all the things that I've never saw hope for, I think she's gonna go down for this. There are so many Republicans who are disgusted with how she acted and how she behaved. Now, they still followed the king's rule because Trump had put out, I don't want you to say none of that. So the Democrats went in. But if you ask me, the Democrats went in a little soft, and she knew it. She's brazen, she's bold, she's a liar, she's a female Trump. And as she wants just as much power that he can give. She is his ride or die, even more so than that man's wife. So that leads me to have a lot of questions about any kind of integrity she has. But this is where we are in the United States of America now. They want total authority over everyone and screw anybody who gets in the way. The fact that that lady didn't even look at the victims speaks volumes to what her character is. Listen, oversight hearings are not campaign rallies. And basically that is pretty much why she's trying to gear all this stuff up. She knows that Trump wants to be the be all, get out any kind of voting or anything. She wants to make sure she protects him at all costs, because the minute people start turning on him, he loses power. But let's be very honest. The last Gallup poll showed him at 36% approval rating. And you want to know how much that pissed him off? He has made it so that the Gallup polls are no longer a point anymore. For the first time since Truman, the Gallup polls will not be reporting on presidential favorability. So you see how deep all of this goes? When an attorney general responds with insults instead of clarity, that's beneath the office. But everything in this administration is beneath the office. Deflection isn't transparency. She deflected. She said nothing. She talked about it only took 40 minutes. Do you know what you can get off the internet in 40 minutes? Do you know what unredacted things mean to people who are put in those positions who don't want their names out there? Instead of protecting the name that you know is in those files, you're going to release the files with the people who are the victim. If you can't answer directly, it signals something that is being protected. We know that she's protecting orange shit pants. So refusing to acknowledge the victims in the room while arguing that procedural compliance is a moral thing for them, no, that's a failure. So when powerful names are remained shielded, the president of the United States, what does that say about the victims who are being so flippantly treated like they are nothing, like they blow in the wind? So if the attorney general can behave combatively like this instead of cooperatively, then that says a whole lot about our justice system in the first place. She doesn't stand for the American people. She doesn't stand for the victims, and she does not stand for truth and honesty. She doesn't have that in her. She's only loyal, and this is why he chose her. She won the prize because she is dedicated to only him. And so when that line blurs, that is complete corruption.
Wow. There's a lot to digest there. Just give me a second here. Some parts that I want you to talk about. What did you think about her opening up that folder and it actually showed records of how they were basically following the searches that I think one of the representatives, when they went into that small office and it showed the search records? What were your thoughts on that point?
It's a disgusting play of how she's trying to say, look what we can get on you. Look, we'll let you do whatever you want to, but you'll always be under our thumb. That's all that is just a power play, and it's disgusting. I don't know, Dr. Vibe. I have to tell you very honestly, the Epstein files bother me so much, and I know they do many Americans, but I have to protect my heart a lot of the times with the Epstein files, being a survivor myself. I can't imagine what these women who were girls when this happened are going through and reliving this trauma over and over again. So no matter how strong they are, because survivors are strong, you still have to go home at the end of the day and uncompress from the stress and the trauma and reliving it over and over and over. This is way deeper than we have ever imagined. I have an analogy of it, and it is that it is so deeply rooted in the black tars of hell that the demons dare not trod on just how deep this is. And the fact that this is being blown over, and the fact that people are arguing that people were hurt, people were murdered, people, yes, they were. Let's be very honest about that. And the fact that, honestly, I don't care if I sound like I'm being a conspiracist, but I don't think that man's dead. I really don't. He had too many powerful ties. Too many powerful ties to be able to get out. And Ghislaine is doing the same thing. She says she will not cooperate unless she gets released. And how much you want to bet all of a sudden she may end up being gone, but she ain't gone. This whole thing stinks. It reeks. And I don't believe that we're going to know the real truth to many years down the road. But right now, I do believe that America is living in PTSD, because this is something that people just were not ready for. And, you know, I listened to a podcast this week, and it was an attorney who deals with these type of cases. And he literally said, y'all are not ready. I thought I was ready. He said, when I was working cases like this, and some of my clients, because at the time he was representing those type of clients, would say to him, I need you to go and look at those files and tell me if that's real or whatever. And he said he thought he could handle it. And then when he got there, because those type of files are never just released to anyone, only a certain amount of people can see what's in those files. So the fact that people can access these pictures and these videos so easily now because they found a way around it, everybody's in shock. And then they don't even think before they put out, look at what we found, look at what we found. They don't even think about the children who are on these social media platforms that are seeing these horrific things. It's darker than we can ever imagine. And the fact anybody who covers it up, I hope you burn in the boiling tar pits of hell and the demons pull out your tongue every single day.
Oh boy. Let me ask you, you mentioned in your sharing that you're disappointed in the Democrats that were on the committee. How so?
I don't think they came strong enough. They're not used to playing down and dirty like Republicans are. I will say the only person that I felt like really kicked ass was, of course, who do we always talk about? Jasmine Crockett, because she didn't put up with none of Bondi's mess. And Bondi knew that that was her match. And she didn't let her get away with anything. And the other ones just seemed like that. What was the last one who was like, oh, just my goodness. No. We need to be a little bit more stern. You need to learn to ask the harder questions and make her face the things that she needs to answer. Her body language, her speaking, her eyes rolling, all of this body language tells you she's deflecting. But not only this, I often wonder how she can go home and sleep with herself. I really do. I really and truly do. To know that these horrific things were done to people and be okay with it. No, the Democrats, to me, did not do a good job. I am extremely critical of them right now, but I'm also listen, because Dr. Vibe, let me be very, very honest. I don't care what side of the aisle you fall on. I don't care if you're a Democrat, an independent, a judge, a street sweeper. If you are in these files and you are guilty of doing this to people, you need to burn. You need to be brought down. And this isn't a case of turn the other cheek or if you see somebody cast the eye and put your plank. No, these are beyond. If you hurt the least of any little one, an animal, children, elderly, anybody, but especially those three, your heart is so dark and vile, I don't even think there's any hope for you. And I think her soul is black, as well as Kash Patel.
What about your friend Kash Patel?
Friend. I have nothing to do with that man. The fact that he is in constant surprise tells you that he's been coached. Have you noticed when he was answering the questions, he got better. He got bondified. I'm sure Bondi pulled him to the side and said, this is what you're going to do. Because those were the exact same reactions and speech. Both of them have been coached to say and act. So no, he's getting better, but I don't think my man knows he's going down first.
What does it say to you, not only just with this administration, but previous administrations, that no one's ever been charged in regards to the Epstein files?
It's disgusting. I watched some of the documentary on Netflix today in preparation for the show tonight. And what really took me aback is that all of this was known so very long ago. He had been reported, I don't know how many times when he was in Florida. He paid off people. He made things go away. And it all started to tumble down in the when they were doing a Vanity Fair article on this man. And that's not how she wanted to start out. She wanted to just kind of figure out, who is this Jeffrey Epstein, right? So when she started digging into it and finding out the initial stories of the three sisters that came out and reported him to the FBI, and how Epstein swooped in and ended up having that article snatched from her. And then it became a rah, 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 Epstein is a winner type of story. She knew just how powerful he was. And he made a point by letting her know, you don't get to talk about me in your narrative at all. These women mean nothing, but I do.
What do you see as Pam Bondi's future?
I don't see one. I hope all these people I hope. And that's the thing. You know what? When we get to this point, we know what we would like to see. And I would like to see all of them punished. And I would like to see them brought to court martial. I would like the world to stand up against this, because this is bigger than the United States. I know we're talking about Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, but if you look at how the other countries are treating this, as they should, it speaks volumes for what's going on in America. So-called former Prince Andrew.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, baby. They
Andrew.
take him all the way down. Okay. Like,
you bring up a good point, LaLa. There have been many people that have resigned, stepped down in countries like England, but
assaulted.
And some people in America who've been in corporate, but the prominent people, nothing.
No, because they have powerful people backing them. You see, one thing that I have learned from these Epstein files, and we've always kind of known that the powerful protect the powerful, but just how deep it goes is even more twisted. Because you see, Jeffrey Epstein was not a Democrat. He was not a Republican. He was a wannabe powerful man who could bring down whole countries and the world at just a look from him. And he made it so. So I am never going to say that he hasn't touched all aspects of entertainment, of politics, of the sports world, of policies, laws and policies being made, because he had every last one of someone in these sectors in his pocket. And at any time, he could bring them down. And they knew that. And they were afraid of him. Look at Deepak Chopra. It doesn't look good for him. He's supposed to be a spiritual leader. You understand? That's religion. You have the Sultan who stepped down. And you have a previous, what was she? Dang it. She was part of the Obama administration. And I can't think of who she was now, but she served under Obama. And just recently, all of her emails came out, and they are devastating, where she's actually even talking to this predator about her children, her girls. So now she is being looked at. Attorneys have been fired. People, everybody around the world is looking at these files for what they are, which is total corruption and deception and twistedness. It is the worst of being human. And they are taking action within their countries. And they're also doing the same thing with Musk. You know, we talked about that last week, but you're not seeing that in America. This is a very, very interesting and scary thing, because, baby, this is worse than anything Nixon could have done.
3 million pages, and there's still not everything.
Yeah.
Still not everything.
I'm afraid of everything. Some things, honestly, Dr. Vibe, some things, Dr. Vibe, are not to be seen.
It reminds me of a song by Talking Heads. Once in a life, same like it ever was. Same like it ever was.
Same like it ever was.
Same like it ever was. Dr. Tachi says, yes, this thing crosses everyone. And she says, Americans don't like taking accountability for anything. She goes, Americans don't like taking accountability for anything. By the way, Dr. Tachi, if you want to call in, please do. We'd love to get you. I was going to reach out to you because Aisha is not feeling well, but I thought it was too close of time. But if you want to call in and join us in the conversation, you know what to do, Dr. Tachi.
You know what to do, Doctor.
You know what to do. You know what to do. So please feel free if you want to join us, at least verbally. what's next with the Epstein files? Because it's the thing. It seems it's one of the things that 47. Okay, Dr. Tachi's going to be calling in. She said, sure. Yeah, we'd love to get your take on this, Dr. Tachi. So we'll sit on this till you give us a call in. What this is the thing that 47 can't get rid of.
No. And he's doing everything that he can possibly do. I mean, saying things like, we're no longer going to talk about this anymore. We're not prosecuting anyone. Well, you know, kind of that leaked footage that he did with Three Toes, Marjorie Taylor Greene, kind of said that my friends will be hurt. Speaks volumes. And let me say one more thing before.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Baby, if Epstein is saying that Trump is the worst person that he's ever known, what does that say about it? What does that say about him?
That says interesting. Another part of this is Ms. Maxwell went in front of the committee this week, and basically she pleaded the fifth. She said she'll only speak if she gets her gets off.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you what right now.
She has information that will clear. Pardon me?
If Trump could do that today without a little bit of fear of the backlash, it would have been done yesterday. He still sees that there is going to be consequences for that part. And I don't know how he's going to play it. I watched Cat Williams' comedy show the other night. And let me tell you something. He talked about how Trump is he's like, this motherfucker don't even know what he gonna do day by day. He'll say something, and then the next day they go, I said that? Oh, okay, I'll worry about the consequences tomorrow. And I had to laugh at that because it's so absurd and so true. Even though as it was put as a comedy thing, he says things, he just throws things out of his nasty mouth, and he doesn't think about what anybody cares, just as long as it's true to him. Oh, the sky's blue. Make it a law tomorrow. So this is what we're dealing with. I do believe this man is going to do it.
I think he will do it some way. So even if it's at the end of his current administration, he will do it some way, somehow. I think he will. Pardon, it's just it's too hot to do it right now. Two other roads I want to go down, as hopefully Dr. Tachi is going to call in. If you are a woman in America and you saw that, oh, here comes Dr. Tachi. Dr. Tachi, are you with us? Saw that. Oh, here comes Dr. Tachi. Oh. Okay, you got to turn off the echo cancellation.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Tachi. Hey, Dr. Tachi, how are you?
Hold on a second.
No problem.
I can't hear you. Okay, hello.
Hello.
Here we go. I can hear you now.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay. I think there's I don't know if there's an echo. No, I think it's gone. Did you slide that echo? Okay. All right. Okay. What's going on, Dr. Tachi?
Not much. How are you?
Outstanding. Always good to have you on here. And what are your thoughts? Did you see any of this Bondi appearance before Congress? You had to take that breath.
I can so see her in my head right now.
Man, I could give you the link, Dr. Tachi, if you want to come on, but it's your choice.
Oh, I look like a troll doll. I don't think you know.
Okay, that's all right. Go ahead.
I did. And so I was watching Don Lemon, and they had a whole panel of individuals, and so they were watching and commentating on the hearing. And okay, well, I'm not surprised. There's no such thing as surprise with this thing.
Uh-oh, did we lose her?
Kind and like peach cobbler, but the moment someone from the Democratic side wanted to ask a question, she turned into, in fact, it was one of the people on the committee that said, you're like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, you're nice when they ask you a question, but the moment we ask you a question, you turn into Mr. Hyde. So there was obviously bias and favor when it comes, and then the dodging. First of all, as one of my favorite high school teachers, Mr. Damiano used to say, "You lie like a rug." He was lying like a rug. Complete lies. And when there wasn't a lie, there was dodging the questions. There were so many questions that were asked by particularly the Democratic senators and Democratic people that were on the committee. And she went into the Dow. What was it? The Dow was
that blew my mind. Oh, it's up to 50. I'm going, what does this have to do with? I'm just going.
It's just deflection.
Wow. It had nothing to do with the price of bread in Belarus. Okay, nothing. That was a tactic to stall. And then let me even go back further than when she talked about the Dow. The fact that she couldn't, this is how you know, and I saw somebody talking about this, somebody from, it wasn't Rutgers, it was some university, talking about the fact of people lacking shame. That when you lack shame, it's easy for you not to turn around and look at the people you wronged. So she couldn't even turn around and look at them. Maybe that shows she does have a modicum of shame, but she covered it up by not turning around and then basically lambasting, and to take the pressure and the energy and the attention off of the actual wrongdoing. It's the same thing with now, I don't know if you heard, okay, you probably heard that one of the Republican senators was asking for an inquiry into the Bad Bunny performance. And so, are you all still there?
We're listening. We're listening to you. We are intently listening on you, Dr. Touch. You've got our ears and our hearts and our minds right now, so we are glued.
Great. Okay, so one of the senators on the Republican side, was it? I don't remember if it was a senator or a congressperson, but somebody from the Republican side asked for an inquiry into the Bad Bunny performance, saying that it wasn't decent, blah, blah, blah. And there were some others that joined in. Well, the FCC chair, Brendan Carr, they did do an investigation and they came back and said nothing is wrong. Nothing was wrong. The interesting thing is, according to Bondage, she said there's no way that they could look into all of the allegations and blah, blah, blah. But you all have the time to bring investigations against a Super Bowl halftime show? In her words, are you kidding me? She said that a lot. So the thing is, all of these different tactics are being used to take the attention away from what actually needs to be done about this, and to continue to fool the American people. And here's the thing: if you're an American, you should be livid. The fact that they think that you're such a fool that you will fall for all of these tactics, because they're playing in your face and they think you're stupid. They think you will sit there and do nothing. And they try to scare people into doing nothing. And here's another thing they have now. They've actually now subpoenaed records from these, like Meta, these social media companies. Meta.
Yes.
Yeah, you saw that. So that they would hand over names and
people who are anti-ICE. People are anti-ICE. I've heard about that now.
Yes, for people who are showing, quote, dissent against ICE. Meta has.
I guess that's all of us here. You think we on them lists?
Everybody is. This is the thing. There are more people. That's easier for them to deal with than all the people that are actually on in the files. So the question to ask now is, who is not in the files? That's really the operative question. But I'm saying all that to say that they're wasting an inordinate amount of time. They continue to spend time on things that your job is not to say, oh, well, who's against ICE? What? And so what you do is that you go and, well, you know how much money that costs? Because this is all on our dime.
Yes.
None of them are paying for this. This is taxpayer money that is being used for all these cockamamie investigations that end up finding nothing, for all of these fact-finding missions, for all of these Operation Desert Storms that they continue to do on our dime. And I don't know why you think anybody would be okay with it. I don't get it. There's a level of thought process that is beyond what I know and can comprehend. And even though, I'm not surprised, I just look at them like, is this what they taught you in school? I don't get it. I don't understand. So that's my thoughts on that, scattered as they were.
Okay. Well, I want to say, LaLa, anything you want to add on to that right now? Because I want to go in further with both of you on this.
Well, I like I said, this is just, we haven't even scratched the surface of just how atrocious this is. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, we must be vigilantly watching what is going on behind the curtain, which is a lot. And I know some of that we will be talking about today, but when your attention is put on one thing, it's very easy to miss what else is going on. And the Gallup poll thing, like I told you, that didn't even get reported. It was an independent reporter who brought that out.
I was aware that. A few things I want to go in further in regards to, there's tentacles of this story all over the place. How do you feel about Ms. Bondi not even wanting to turn and apologize to those young ladies? How does it make you feel as women? A woman not doing that?
Absolutely disgusting. More than anything, a woman should understand that pain, whether you've been through it or not. There's something about womanhood. The fact that someone can violate you so horrifically in that way, where you have been snatched, your body has been snatched. And when your body has been snatched, it also tends to take your spirit and your soul to a different place. The fact that she couldn't even acknowledge that these women are in pain and wanting justice, and she's supposed to be the attorney general, tells me a lot about her character. She has none. So she's just basically just shown us who she is. She's always been the little lion over there barking. But this was a different level of showing just how evil she truly is. She could play with the big boys on this.
No, well, remember, so again, LaLa, I'll say, it was performing to one person.
Understood.
Right.
But
And
like I said, she still can play with the big
that's
boys.
what he likes. He likes you to just dig deep and hold and hold and hold. So in the fact that if that was the goal of that testimony, check mark.
Exactly. He will protect her, just like he protected another person this past weekend that nobody talked about. He pardoned an evil woman the first time around on his thing, and she did something federally. It was atrocious. She got in trouble again, and he repardoned her again. So this is where we are. This is where we are, where a real American can be snatched off the streets and sent to another country and never be heard from again. To only the evil and those who kiss the ring and bow down to him wanting to be the next Schmittler will be rewarded. But is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? Is it really worth your soul to be rewarded by such an evil demon?
Dr. Tatch, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Is there anything you want to add? Because I want to ask you a question in a different tentacle of this, but anything you want to add on from what was been chatting, what's been chatted?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me well?
We can.
Okay. I'm playing around to I don't know if it's my speaker, my microphone on my computer, or you're hearing me through the microphone that I'm holding, but whatever. I 100% agree with LaLa, yes. And I would add, though, it would follow that you would have to have a soul in order for for you to be able to sell it.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
But see, Dr. Tachi gets what I'm trying to say. There's like no words. Like that's where I'm struggling. The words that I want to use to express, I don't think have ever been made up with how nasty and vile these people are. They deserve their own dictionary explanation.
Okay. Dr. Tachi, you have your PhD in communications, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
From a communications lens, rate Ms. Bondi's performance.
Oh gosh. If she were one of my students, she would have a sub-0 right now. It's extremely poor communication. Well, first of all, she is speaking to respond rather than seeking to understand. First of all, she already came in there with her mind made up about what was going to be said, with what she's probably been told she needs to say. So it's almost like theater. Mm-hmm. All of this hearing, as much as I hate to say it, with her and with these other the battalion of fools, nothing is going to get done because they're not interested in sharing the truth, and they're not interested in making it a palatable hearing at all. They're there to be combative. They're there to be disrespectful, because all of that theater and circus takes attention away from everything. Remember those old detective shows where people were always trying to have a mistrial, and so they would act up and do all those things so that it would happen? That's what this is. This is the classic old school television. Let's turn this into a mistrial. The fact that Bondi got a law degree from anywhere is surprising to me.
Well, she's 47's lawyer, right? Back in Florida days, right?
Surprising at best, but that doesn't mean she's a good lawyer.
Okay. Got a comment here from YouTube. It's hard to communicate when you're lying.
Yeah, your tongue gets in the way. That forked tongue gets in the way.
Absolutely. When you're, it's very hard to communicate when you're not telling the truth. And there's this whole cognitive dissonance that goes on when you're not telling the truth. There's also, because this is the thing about lying, you know how they always say that you have to tell bigger and bigger lies in order to cover up the other ones, and then you're consistently looking over your shoulder. That's what's happening here. So it's not a comfortable situation when, number one, you are lying, and number two, you're not on the right side of this entire thing. There's a lot going on there. So that will significantly affect your communication. So the stammering, the defensiveness, the pause.
Okay.
If you notice, she took a lot of pauses before she answered. They were not pauses.
Dr. Tachi, can I just interrupt you? I'm getting echoing on your end.
You're getting an echo?
Yeah, on your end. Did you, with the road thing, did you make sure the echo cancellation is on?
Yeah, it's on.
I'm not hearing the echo.
Okay. Because I'm hearing it when I speak. So maybe
you know what it is. It could be because usually when there's an echo, that means it's cycling through somebody's speakers.
Okay. That may be me then. Maybe, but continue. Yeah. So someone's saying definitely an echo they're hearing.
Okay.
Okay.
You know what? Because I'm wearing earbuds, and I'm using a mic. So.
Okay, and
so
I think it's gone now. Yeah, it's gone now. Okay. All right. Sorry to interrupt. Go continue on sorry to interrupt you there. Yeah, the other person saying yes, there is an echo, but I think it's gone. And now it's okay now. So we got family. So Brandon says yes, there is an echo, but now We're told it's okay.
Brandon's my partner. Hi, Brandon.
Okay. Good stuff. So sorry to interrupt, Dr. Tachi. Anything more you're wanting to say in regards to the communication style? I know she wouldn't pass your class.
No, first of all, she wouldn't be in my class. I'd find every way possible for her not to be in there. She would just be terrible. She seems like the type of person that got by, and that was about it. So I think again, when you look at the body language too, let's remember that body language is part of communication as well.
Huge part.
Huge part. In fact, I would hasten to say it's more important often than the speaking part of it. The fact that I was talking about the long pauses that she took, or not just to gather herself. It's okay to take pauses when you speak. That's how you gather your thoughts and you make intelligible sentences and you speak sense, right? But she was doing that as a way, as avoidance, if you noticed, because it was just a little bit too long between when she answered and when the question was asked. And these were not the questions you should already have the answers for. If you know you're coming into this type of thing, and number one, you're going to lie, can you at least get your lies together ahead of time so that you can, that's the other thing. There is an arrogance there with her, but that entire side and the entire administration, there's an arrogance. So this is why.
Well, that's his style though, Dr. Touch. As I say again, it's dig deep, don't move, and just stay still and repel.
But that's not an effective style. That's ineffective communication. So that's what he does, and that's what they do. But that's not an effective style.
Okay.
So if they're wondering why they're not getting anywhere with it, because I know they are, that's why.
Well, do you feel though many Americans like that style, that sort of macho aggressive style?
I think they're getting tired of it. I think, like I said, I think we're all going through PTSD right now. We are, and that's not a joke. Like people laugh about that, but honestly, we've been whiplashed back and forth so much, with so much screaming, so much hollering, so much lying, so much of this, that most people are getting tired. And you're actually starting to see a lot of his cult members also experiencing exhaustion with all of this as well.
Okay.
100%. And really quickly, people have never really liked that style of communication just because it's done. And definitely there is, and this goes back to the movies, the types of movies we watch, the types of television shows we watch, the things we read, the things we pay attention to. This country, it has a very macho, misogynistic way of doing things. There is a movie that a documentary that I used to show my class called Hip Hop Beyond Beats and Rhymes, and it talks about misogyny in hip hop. But it wasn't just about hip hop. The question was, well, where do you think it came from? It came from the Westerns and the shoot 'em up culture style. John Wayne,
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. Exactly. It came from those types of things. Those are the types of things you pay attention to, you internalize them, and then you act them out, where art becomes life or life becomes art, right? You know, that whole cyclical thing. So that's where that comes from. So going back to now, why is it that we communicate this way? Part of it is the media that we take in, but part of it has also been when you come from a country that is okay with colonialism, which is okay with taking over territories, you are saying, we think we're the best and we deserve this, so we can act however we want. Part of acting is speaking however you want. That's where this harsh, brash way, and that's not everybody, but it has come, unfortunately, to characterize American way of communicating, or the American way of communicating.
Okay. From YouTube, LB Things Sophomore says, I like to watch the people behind her. They real tough. I'm glad you picked that out, because in the video we showed, there was one guy who was sort of rolling his eyes or looking away a little bit and going, okay. And you also say Burn book and all still look like pedo protector. Oof. And Jared says, start covering the 9/11 Shadow Commission within the Epstein files. Oh.
And that's what I'm saying. The Epstein files, people are focusing on what has happened to the women, but the Epstein files are more than that. The Epstein files shows just how deep the corruption goes within politics across the world. This isn't just an American thing. Like, they were already talking about Hillary Clinton's emails and how much they pretty much weren't a big deal, but how can they turn them into a big deal? These things are real time. And so it isn't just the sexually twisted things that were going on the island. This is much deeper than people think. You're talking about creating policies and putting things in their hand. You're talking about buying babies for stem cell research so that they can make themselves look younger. You're talking about, you're talking about the United Kingdom. You're talking about how this man controlled so many people by just tapping into their twistedness and their desire to be able to be on a level where they're untouchable. Not really understanding he was a master manipulator, not understanding that they were being manipulated, because at any time he could call a favor due, and you better follow through with it.
Interesting. Some more comments here from YouTube. Two double says all those pedophiles should be jailed for life. And Jared says she's exactly correct, meaning LaLa. Are we going to see anyone go to trial in America for this?
Somebody's going to be a pawn. I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody's going to be a pawn. Will it pacify America? That is the question.
I'm going to add another layer to this. Some more comments here. As always, Epstein is like Raymond Redican if Raymond was a pedophile. Two double says your favorite entertainers and politicians are a part of the bull. It's thousands who participated. Also says black entertainers and politicians.
Yes, all across the board. Now, I know you came in later, but I will say this again to stress my stance and the importance, and I will look dead into the camera when I tell you, I do not care what side you fall on. If you are a part of this twisting it, you are just as guilty and you need to go down. I don't care who you are, black, white, green, polka dot, Democrat, Republican, Christian, Muslim, you all need to go. Because God knows the world doesn't need that, but we know that it's here, and that's what's frightening. It is a very black underworld that y'all wasn't ready for. I wasn't ready for. I'm not even gonna pretend like I was ready for it. When some of the things that came up, I was like, what? And the fact that people are also trying to throw certain people on the bus. You need to understand something. Just because your name is in the files doesn't necessarily mean that you have done something wrong. Here's a perfect example. Stevie Wonder was in the files. Would you like to know why Stevie Wonder was in the files along with some other artists? They refused to perform in Israel. So they were labeled anti-Israel. So that wasn't a bad name. His name was in the file, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone who was mentioned in the file has done something wrong. So you need to use discernment over everything that you look at. Don't just let your anger drive you into not really paying attention what the truth of the matter of these files are, and have your own discernment. Don't just regurgitate what I say, what anybody else says. Don't take it for fact. Go look for yourself if you have the heart to, but you need to know that's trigger warning before you even open those files.
So
if I may.
Go ahead, please, Dr. Tachi. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the job, especially with something this sensitive, when you're talking about records and documents that are this sensitive, and these may be serious triggers for people. I think this cements the role of journalism now more so than ever. Journalists really need to be the eyes and ears, and please still, journalists, protect yourself when it comes to these things. But part of the job comes with being the eyes and ears for these things, because unlike the Project 2025, where it's like, yeah, maddening, but you can still kind of get through it. These are horrific, and it could be very triggering for some people. So just be careful. But yes, I definitely think that you should not just take our word for it or whatever. Make sure that you are checking for agreement from different sources, from different people that are saying basically the same thing. That's how you know, okay, there's some trust there when you can do this. And then to your point of discernment, this is part of the problem with who we are here as Americans. It's not just a lack of discernment, it's a lack of critical thinking skills. It was purposefully done to take things that allow you to think critically out of the curriculum so that you don't. This way, you are just a member of the machine and you're not thinking. So you will accept whatever is given to you. That is the hope, and that's what they're hoping. And unfortunately, a lot of people are proving them wrong. Even people that you think have some sense and on the side of right, sometimes they'll start to talk. I'm like, are you listening to what you're saying and how that's the antithesis of what it should be? So this goes across different sectors of society.
Yeah.
The fact that we don't use good critical thinking skills.
You know,
I want to add something to that.
Go ahead. No, I just want to interrupt. You ladies are on fire again because the comments have just gone out of bounds since you two are starting going in right now. So continue, LaLa.
I want to point out that, we know that there's always going to be diehard people who support orange shit pants. Y'all know that's what I call them. So that's just, that's what he is to me. But they're always going to be his supporters. And I saw something this week that disgusted me so much, it literally made me nauseous, is those who still support him over this have now turned the narrative and has said, well, basically, if your name wasn't in the files, that shows you just how pathetic you are. That means you're really a nobody. And said it with such power, like it would be such a disgrace not to be mentioned in these files. So you're always going to have those who are still going to continue to drink the orange Kool-Aid. So discernment, people. Yes, I understand. Dr. Tachi, not a lot of them do. Because let me tell you, people don't even know how to write in cursive no more. We got people now who are advocating to take iPads out of classrooms because kids don't know how to write. So how are you going to teach them critical thinking? They can't even read or write.
Exactly. And can I just say, I will take being a nobody and not being in the files for 200, Alex. That is not a flex. And the fact that they are able to twist it, and they're not trying to convince us. They're trying to convince themselves. It's not us, because we know we're good. Those of us on the side of right understand we're good and we're just fine with that. It's those who are trying to justify it and those who may be in it that are saying these things because you have nothing else. And that's really sad. How sad is it that you have nothing else going for you, that you are such a nobody that makes you important? May the ancestors punish you. That's all I have.
All right. Do I have your permission to catch up on some comments? Because there have been a few. All right. So Regina's in the house. Senator Dan Goldman said Todd Blanchard is running the DOJ, not Bondi. Jared says the problem with the Epstein Transparency Act is there's no enforcement mechanism or private cause of action within the act, unfortunately. Hey, Hans, good to have you here. If they're in the files, they need to bring back the guillotine for all those involved. Okay. And he said Corey Lewandowski is running the DHS. Him and Chris Noam, that's a whole other conversation.
Baby, that's a whole show unto itself.
But yeah, big time. L being sophomore says very true. Cass Lou, good to have you here. Gives the 100. Yes, Corey is Noam's boyfriend. Yes, that's a whole conversation in itself. We're gonna get to that in regards to the SAVE Act. We haven't got there yet. Regina says, I'm late, but you're here. Don't worry. There's always replays. All right. LB Things. Stuffmore says, new subscriber. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Hope and keep on contributing. It's our conversation, not just us three right now. It's everyone's conversation. We co-created. Regina says, we're beginning to step out of the matrix. Caslu says, at this time, various stories, and MJ was protecting the babies. Okay. I'm going to look at some more. Jared says, it's going to require great participation in capital letters, nationwide citizens arrest upon U.S. to enforce. We the people are the power. And Caslu says, blessed and happy Love Day. Do not celebrate the origins of this day, but celebrate love today and every day. Yes. Received. Any other comments on this story before we move on to our next conversation piece, ladies?
Not from me. I'm done with Epstein.
Well, you may be. Well, it's not going to be done with. Well, okay. I do want to add one more thing. Do you feel if many more Americans were doing well economically, would this be as much? Because there's a whole bunch of promises that 47 made. He hasn't kept any of them. Do you feel because the Epstein's issues become more of a red flag because all these promises 47, and the way they just don't like the way he's running his government, period. Would this still be a fireball issue if Americans were doing well, better economically? That was a commentary I heard this week.
No, I don't think so. This is two different things. You're talking about morality. You're talking about humanness, and the lack of being. But I don't think in this situation, we're looking at something very unique. This is something that we haven't seen on this type of scale. It was treated as being a conspiracy thing. And, people were laughing when people were saying things like Pizzagate and stuff like that, calling people crazy because they thought they were saying things like this. I don't think this has anything to do with economics at all. I think that it shouldn't. But for me, it's more of a humanity issue because you see more people coming together on this than you do see division. Like, yes, you're seeing all the nastiness and the split in the news. But when you talk to people, when you really talk to people, whether they're on either side, a lot of them are saying the same thing, that this should never be, and everyone involved should be punished. They are just as angry and unified, more unified than you think they are in the streets than what is being fed to you in the media.
Last comment on this one, Dr. Tachi. Anything you want to add?
Yes, I have to your point, I agree with LaLa, but I also think there would be theirs that if there was a better economic situation, there would be people willing to turn a blind eye to some of this stuff because they were making money.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, case in point, all we have to do is look at the Watergate scandal in the 1970s with Nixon. We were in severe economic crisis at that point. That was when the oil crisis began. Mm-hmm. There was the OPEC oil embargo against the U.S. There was a recession. There was a stock market crash. So similarly, Nixon didn't do what the hell he was supposed to do either. And so there were factors that led people to, I think, have more of a problem with him than if the economy was well and good. Because I'm sorry, Americans are very flaky. All we need is something free to stand in line for, and we will be your friend. Not me, but overall for Americans. And I'm not going to say, I hate to use a blanket, but That happens a lot because listen to the discourse when it comes to, okay, a lot of people that voted for him, and we saw, even though they cheated, we saw how many people actually did vote for him. And what were the things that they looked for, especially the first time? The economy, the economy, the economy. When this man has been bankrupt more times than anything, when this person has shown over and over that he is not a good steward of his own money, why would he be a good steward of our money? It's there and it's clear, but yet people kept leaning on the economy, the economy, the economy. So for some reason, he has people in a trance, though there are receipts to show he has never been good with money at all. There are receipts to show this. So I don't get why people fell for it, but they did. And people went for the economy. So it shows that despite the other ridiculous things, and it came out during the campaign, especially, the first time and the second time, but both times it came out during the campaign, the despicable things that he had done. Even before the presidency, we knew him as the whole thing, from the whole thing with the Tea Partiers and the birthers and all of that type of thing. We knew him from the Exonerated Five. The Egypt actually took a whole front page out or a whole page out in the New York Times against them. So you're trying to tell me, with all the horrible things that he's done over his lifetime, that you trust him to lead and to be a steward of your money? That shows me that you're willing to forgive anything when it comes to money. And if it was doing better, that you would be right on board and say nothing.
That's the point I wanted to bring up, just as put it out there to see what you had to say. I've got some more comments here. Someone says, eat the Epstein class. Another commentary here is, it's been going on for over 100 years. Roger Dundas, him and his beautiful, wonderful wife, Camille Dundas, are the power behind BuyBlacks.com, Black Canada's #1 online magazine. Good to have you here. Regina says, Bondi discussed the Dow as being more important issue and was universally dissed for putting money in front of morality. Let's see. Interesting comment here. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. So T Double says, I'm sorry, man, but my 401 is up. My stocks are booming. Fentanyl overdoses are down. I don't like 47, but come on, ma'am.
But see,
who you ma'aming on that one? Because I don't know what book you reading out of, and you must be reading out of a fairy tale, because fentanyl overdoses are nowhere near down. In fact, they are way up. When people are suffering the way that they're suffering now, losing jobs and things of that nature, they turn to the things that make them feel better. Your 401k, baby, I can't answer for yours, and I can't tell you if that's the truth or not. Your stocks are booming, but is that worth the price of your soul in our country is what I'd like to know. If that's your thing, is your thing, do what you want to do on that part. But if that is what you're touting and you're saying, I don't like Trump, but come on, that's the problem. You see, you're only worried about yourself. And when we don't worry about a whole collectively, that is the problem, right? So good for you that your 401k is up. Good for you that your stocks are open. But I'd like to know what you're doing to help improve the community, whether you like Trump or not. That has always been the question. It is not always about you. Because you never know when one day when your light is dim, who you're going to need to turn around to and let them light your light once again. It's about being a good human. And there's nothing wrong with earning money and doing what you need to do to protect yourself financially. No one is saying that here. What we're saying here is the lies and the corruption that is going through this country. Is it really worth it to see our country burn in the way that it is burning? If that means you're a little more happier with your 401k while we burn, I'm not okay with that.
Man, I'm sorry. I just one
Go ahead.
thing to this. So this proves the point that people are okay and they will turn a blind eye to the evil as long as they're making money. But until it comes to their front door, they'll do nothing. Case in point, the whole thing that has happened with Minnesota and the absolute hell that they have wreaked there. Well, sorry to say, but when this was turned toward other people, nobody really had a whole lot to say. They were still kind of like humming and hawing until now 2 Americans were executed. Now, because it hit you, now you have something to say. So the thing is that there are so many Americans that don't have the emotional intelligence to be able to think about the collective as opposed to the individual. And can I blame them? Not really, because this country has the makings of an individualistic society, meaning that the good of the individual is praised above the good of the collective. That also means that we are a low context country where things always have to be explained to us, and they don't exist unless it exists in a contract. So we're highly individualistic. We are low context. We don't have a lot of emotional intelligence. That makes for this type of situation 100%. So I'm not surprised when people are like, oh, I don't like him, but that's exactly what we've fostered people to do. Am I giving them a pass for feeling that way? Not at all. But I see where that line of thinking comes from. I come from a community where that's not the thing. You know that in African societies, the good of the collective is praised above the good of the individual. So that's why I could look at things of, no, that's not right. It doesn't benefit everyone, because that's the type of community I come from. And I'm not saying that it's not good to think about yourself. Absolutely. But like LaLa said, if thinking about yourself comes at the expense of all of us, to hell with that.
Okay. What I'm going to do, because of time, we're only going to do one more story. We had 2 more to do. And there's someone who has a lot of comments in the comment section. Because of time, I'm not going to get to all of them. I'm not going to get to them because we have one more story to do and time is running out. So,
but before we move on, I do want to address the fact that, listen, I know he has a lot of comments. He is a Black man. Sir, you have chosen your side. No one is here to convince you otherwise. And nor are you going to change our stance on what we're doing. I do know that our men are still swinging from trees. And if that doesn't bother you, then I don't know what to tell you. I have nothing for you. I'm not here to debate you, trying to justify what you feel is okay in your life. All I know is I can move forward to make this world a better place. Now, at this point, I don't claim to be Democrat or Republican. I was never a Republican. I'm actually pretty upset with everybody. What I want is a better place for America. And sir, as a Black man, if ICE is there in Memphis, which they are, you are just as much as in danger as anyone else, because baby, they snatching you off the streets. You are not being found and you're being shipped off to other countries, and then you're not being brought back. So if that doesn't even concern you, but you're so happy with your 401k, I applaud you. I applaud you. Because you know what? I'm not trying to convince you of anything, because obviously you're blind to the matter. So be happy in your blindness.
okay. On that, we're going to move on. Hello, Cinnamon Canella. Good evening, late again, but you're here. No problem. All right. So let's move on to our next conversation piece. And what we'll do is we'll take myself and LaLa off the screen for a moment. We're going to play a short little video, and then we are going to talk about our next conversation piece. So we'll be back in about a minute. Hang tight.
Imagine needing a passport or birth certificate just to register to vote. That's the reality under the SAVE Act, which passed the House and demands documentary proof of citizenship and a strict photo ID for federal elections. For Black Americans, this could mean major barriers. Millions lack these documents, and community registration drives, used by Black voters at nearly twice the rate of white voters, would be disrupted. Civil rights groups warn this law threatens to silence marginalized voices and deepen inequality. The Senate may block it, but the stakes for voting rights are high.
All right, our next conversation piece, and LaLa, thank you for bringing this one also to the attention. Save Act Pass, what does it mean for American, especially Black American voters? Go ahead, LaLa.
Well, it's more than just Black American voters, which we already know that it's hard enough with the history of voting in our country was, and they see that there is power when they because typically Black Americans vote Democratic Party, so they're doing absolutely everything they can. Just as they stole the last election, I ain't arguing with none of y'all on that. The election was stolen, and it has been proven that they see their power in punishing people and taking away their right to vote. So of course they're going to go after everything that they can to burn down that part of the institution. In our communities, it's already hard enough to do these things just to get the right type of ID. Sometimes we have weird things that go on. We're always at disadvantage. When America has a cold, the Black community has the flu. Let's just be very, very open about that. But I want to address a couple of the facts that is not just for our community, which is extremely important to me, but I, as a person who travels a lot and sometimes has to depend on using mail-in ballots. Also, as a woman, because listen, the SAVE Act requires documentation proving citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. That means, like they said, passport, birth certificate, naturalization certificate. Listen, but what they are counting on with this is women who have gotten married, their names do not match their birth certificate. They have not taken into account, or excuse me, they have taken into the account that if your names do not match with your birth certificate, you don't get to vote. This also affects people who are naturalized citizens who were not born in the United States of America, but have gone through the channels and are American citizens. Remember the Great American Melting Pot? There are many people who have their American citizenship that will be will not be able to vote because they don't have a birth certificate from the United States of America. Elderly Americans will also be affected by this because a lot of our elderly, 80, 90, 100, because people are living longer, they don't have their birth certificates anymore. We're talking about a time where people were still doing home births, not necessarily going to the hospitals for that. So they don't have those. They would be knocked out. Low income voters who can't get replacement documents. This is where we're coming into our communities on the lower registers, the lower income voters who cannot get documents replaced. And just the whole fact is the plan is to make sure that they keep the power by taking away power from those who have a true voice in the United States. So listen, election integrity does matter. I'm a big chick on that one. But the way that they're doing it, like they do everything else, is under the table and under the water. Democracy collapses when access is restricted without any kind of cause. So creating all of these barriers is actually just a political theater. And it was written about in Project 2025. Y'all sick of me saying that yet? Because as I recall, Aisha and I took the time to explain absolutely every single section of that big ass document. And y'all thought that we was crazy. And everything that we told you came true, including this. So listen, if millions of eligible voters are now going to be facing this, that is definitely suppression. And it's also fear-based because some people are afraid to go and do these type of things. Like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't go and try to get that again because, ICE is out around there and I need to go. And they're worried about that. So you have fear in the streets. Listen, data-based policy making is what strengthens things. That's fine. We can deal with that. But the way that they're doing this is crooked, it's disingenuous, and it's planned to keep them in power. Everything right now is focused on making sure that they are trying to get through the midterms, because we all know that if it's done correctly, that they're going to lose by a landslide, and that's what they're worried about. So this is nothing but a game plan to take away the power of the people and keep it in their pockets. And they're going to continue to do this until they win. And we have to continue to fight back. Now, another thing before I let it go is, because this is really under my skin, they're also saying that military wouldn't really be able to vote, because what they're requiring is that you bring in your documentation when you go to the voting polls. If you have military people and expats who are not in the state that they are registered in, and they can't get home, you don't get those votes. You don't get to count those. So this is nothing but bamboozlement and crookedness on their part to win when they know darn well they can't on their own merits.
Dr. Tachi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. I 100%, 2,000%, 1,000,000% agree. All of this is these are tactics to enact voter suppression. As LaLa said, they cannot win on their own. You have to be meritocratic to get merit. So I'm not giving them, they have no merit at all. It's baseless for merit. So they cannot win on their own. The only way they can win is by playing these reindeer games. And my thing is, it takes so much energy to do these types of things. It takes a lot of energy. This is why I can't identify with it. I like ease. I'm not going to do something that is going to overexert me when it comes to these things. But they're doing it because they can't win any other way. When you were talking about these types of things, I keep thinking about older people. In Delta, we have our members that are over the age of 62, which is not old. They're called Delta Deers. But we have deers that are like in their 90s and things like that. And, our thing is like to make sure when it comes to elections, we can get them to the polls. You need a ride, Mitch, such and such. Can I take you there? Do you want to walk there since you're down the street? Those types of things. But yes, especially if you're talking about like, I'm down here, even though, this South Florida is very metropolitan, you have some places in South Florida where these people were born when these were bean fields. That was very rural and agrarian. So, and then there were no black hospitals per se. So you don't have very good records from back then. So 100%. And then I'm thinking my mother was naturalized. Birth certificate where? Okay, we don't even know that she was born the year that she said she was born, because in Africa at that time, they didn't have all these fancy records and birth certificate. I remember I asked my father, hey, what is your birthday? He said, I think it's in May. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. So you're talking about people who have made significant contributions to this country. Not only that, they may be citizens, or they're citizens, and they're allowed to vote. But you're trying to disenfranchise them, and you're targeting the groups that you think would be anti-you. So I'm just co-signing on what LaLa said.
Okay.
Don't forget, it goes beyond that. In the fact that they are so obsessed, so hell-bent obsessed. You want to talk about fentanyl? This is their fentanyl, because this is what they want to do. Don't forget when all the stuff that's going on in Minnesota, and which, by the way, it's still going on, but you see the news has decided it's going to pass and get another story. Trump went to Waltz and said, I can make all this go away. I can make all this go away. Just hand over all them voters' records. They also went in and stormed the voters' records in Georgia. So if they're hyper fixated on this in order to twist it even more, and I think a lot of it also has to do with this. Listen, we know Musk had a hell of a whole lot to do with this. Not only that, we talked about how Spain and Italy are going after Musk for election interference in their country. All right. So they are actually going after, in case Trump and Musk are fighting that week, having a bro fight, they want to make sure that they got the second best thing by getting everybody's roles and then calling them corrupt and losing people's information so that when they show up at the polls, they can't vote. This is nothing but corruption. They can't win any other way than to cheat.
Okay. I'll ask you one last conversation piece and we'll end it off. Do you feel there'll be a midterm election this year?
I'm leaning toward no. And I think when that happens, all hell's going to break loose.
Dr. Tachi, you said yes.
Yes, I think there definitely will be, especially if we're talking about the northern states, that's going to happen. Now, that doesn't mean they will not attempt interference. Knowing them like we know them, they're going to, instead of doing what the jobs they're being paid to do that we're paying them to do, they're going to run all sorts of interference up there. So I think, yes, I think I'm sorry. I'll say this again to those of you below the Mason-Dixon line, well, below Maryland, how about that? If you all want to secede, we'll be okay. Because the northern states are paying for your existence anyway. So you are not needed. You can go. So the northern states are not going to play that. They definitely are going to be having midterms. But I can foresee some sort of wahala to mess with the midterms in those states. So it's going to happen, but it's not going to be clean and pretty like we're used to. If they were ever clean and pretty, let's be real. But there will be some shenanigans at play, believe me. Some of these, and the only reason I say the southern states is because these are the places that are obviously deep red and they play along, even if they know, because that doesn't mean they agree, but they are party above republic every time. And so they'll just go along with it. So they'll go along with shenanigans. They'll go along with handing over things because they're cowardly. I said it.
I think she's right on many points. But I will say also, Dr. Tachi, the only thing that worries me is, pretty much, and this is why I say no, is pretty much we all know that whenever he says something, people be laughing like, what do you mean? Well, he already done floated the fact. Remember, he said it loud and loud. He asked in front of all the cameras, if it was a war going on, we wouldn't have to have elections. Isn't that right? And that was his cue to run with it. So that's why I feel like no, because, almost everything he says, he comes to pass, and it worries me.
Anything to add, Dr. Tachi? Are we done? Okay. I think we're done. All right. Let me just check. All right. So let's call it there. All right. So want to say thank you, LaLa, as always, and Dr. Tachi. I don't know if she's still here. I don't think she is. We lost her. But for those, I'll take care of Dr. Tachi. If you want to get a hold of Dr. Tachi, those are the different things, places. Indie Soup Media on YouTube, also Indie Soup Media website, and also Instagram at dr_Tachi, Tachi. Now there's another member of the family. She's not with us. Aisha K. Staggers, got to do her justice. You can catch her on Instagram at AK Staggers, Medium, AishaKStaggers.medium.com, Blue Sky at AK Staggers. bsky.social, Friendomedia, friendomedia.com, and Substack, Aisha K. Staggers. Now, someone gets the whole screen to themselves. Wonder who?
It's little old me, the LaLa, the international real estate agent. Listen, I have a really great website that I would like for you to please visit. Please consider visiting because there's a lot of freebies there about budgeting, which we talked a little bit about finance. If you need to start reeling in your finance, there is a free budget planner there and it's pretty detailed. I also have information for you if you're considering becoming an expat, if you're considering moving out of the country. You have to be in a right type of frame and mind to do that. It's not as easy as people say. So I have a free quiz on my website, which is laurakey.net, that will help walk you through the real truths of what happens when you are ready to become an expat. And if you are ready for it, either you're ready for it, or maybe you have to plan for it, or hey, let's go right now because we can do this. So please go there. But I also have an Etsy store, and I am enjoying taking my mind off of a lot of things by putting things in my Etsy store. It's building. I'll probably be putting up two new items this week. But please go there. I've got a couple of free, stress-free affirmation coloring books that I've made there that, hey, if you like to color and get some positivity in your day, I'm all for it. Please visit my store at etsy.com, shop living the LaLa life.
Yeah, and I saw the post you did this week about, it was a day or so about affirmations.
Yes.
That was good. It was good. Well, thank you as always for taking the time. Good to have you here. All right. And Dr. Tachi, are you back with us?
Yeah, cut me off.
All right. So I no problem. So I have it up on my screen, but what are the best ways people can get a hold of you?
You actually can get to me at Dr_TACHI. Send me a message on Instagram, but that's also my handle on a lot of other channels, including YouTube. I'm also the founder of Indie Soup Media, which is an independent content network for independent content creators. And you can find all sorts of great stuff at indiesoupmedia.tv. And we are at Indie Soup Media on all social platforms.
Thank you for jumping in, Dr. Tachi. As always, we appreciate. We always have a spot for you, and I've got to talk to you about spot for you when we get offline. All right.
Okay.
We'll leave it off, but thanks as always. Thank you for taking the most important thing, your time. Come back. Oh, there we are. I'm back. All right. A few more comments before we leave, and there's a lot of them. So interesting. Someone says northern states become Canadian provinces. And then Cinema Canela goes, wow, wow, wow. Cass Lou gives clap emojis. She also says, thanks, guys. Right back at you. Jen Meyer says, great show as always. And Jen says, I love Etsy. Yes, she loves Etsy. Now, let's get how you can get a hold of me. So let me just do this here. All right. Now, if you want to get a hold of me, the best way to do it is toplink.cc/the_DRVIBESHOW.com. All the contact information is there. I could put up on screen, but it's all there. And in most of the comment sections that you're watching this live on replay, a lot of stuff that was shared in regards to contact information, all that stuff is already there. Okay. And also you can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the Dr. Vibe Show, the DRVIBESHOW.com. So as we close out, I want to say thank you for everyone for watching live or on the replay. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. And this is what we do. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger and better. Aim higher and wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time. Manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both and make it better. And again, thank you for everybody, especially the new people. And if you're up to it, please subscribe, because a lot of people watch, but they don't subscribe. If you're up to it, subscribe. All right. God bless. Peace you well. Keep the faith and walk good.